Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends, Tales from the Rails, Episode 25, The Little Western Line. Duck and Oliver run the Little Western Line on the island of Sodor. They work hard all day and will work in any weather. Oliver and Duck both agree being late is not Great Western. One day, Duck was at the docks. He was picking up a package and some fuel for the Sodor airfield. Duck arrived at the docks right on time, but Cranky was dawdling getting the package into Duck's cargo car. Don't dawdle, complained Duck crossly. When will you engines ever learn that my job is just as important as yours, and it takes time to do? But it takes more time, pitched in Edward, when you dawdle. Me Hardy, that was a good one. Cross Cranky dropped the cargo for the airfield right into Duck's cargo car. Geez, said Duck, no need to be that hard, and Duck sped away. He was becoming late. Thanks to Cranky's dawdling, I may be late, and possibly Tiger Moth could be taking off. Luckily, the lanes were clear, and Duck was able to speed right through. At the airfield, Tiger Moth and his pilot were growing anxious. The pilot looked at his watch. Duck's late. We better get going. We can fill up with fuel somewhere else. No, said Tiger Moth. I must fill up here. We might not make it. Come on, Great Waterton isn't that far away. They have a fuel station there. I guess you're right. Let's get going. His pilot jumped on board, and Tiger Moth took to the runway. Duck, however, knew he was late and sped around the corner into the airfield. Duck was coming at the wrong time. Tiger Moth started going down the runway when he saw Duck. There he is, pilot. It's too late now. And Tiger Moth hit Duck while zooming up. Duck tipped over and Tiger Moth bent a wheel. Since Duck was going at such a fast speed, he skimmed up against Hiro telepad. The train behind him clumped up. The mess was bad, but luckily the Sodor fuel tanker did not leak. Up in the air, Tiger Moth was flying. Ow, 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 he complained. My wheels, they hurt. One of them's bent. Will you be okay? No, I'm not. I gotta turn back. So that's what the pilot did. While coming in for a landing, he severed the damage. But when he was landing with a bent wheel, it was very hard to. He nearly tipped over, but luckily, he stopped, leaning over on his other side. His pilot had jumped clear out and then stood up. That was a nasty landing. I don't know what happened. It's the bent wheel, complained Tiger Moth. I need to go to the works. Now, why would you need to go to the works? All you have to do is press the wheel. Oh, that's right. Oliver puffed in with Toad. He surveyed the mess. My goodness, I must call for help right away. This looks awful. He left Toad in the train in a siding and puffed away for help. Emily arrived with Rocky. She looked at the mess and was very shocked. Well, Duck, looks like you couldn't fly, she laughed. Ha, very funny, said Duck, replying. The mess was soon cleaned up. Duck was put on a flatbed to be taken to the works. The package was arrived at the airfield. The fuel arrived at the fueling station of the airfield, and Oliver came back for his train. So Donald and Douglas arrived to meet Sir Topham Hatt. Duck was soon pulled to the works by Emily, but Sir Topham Hatt was concerned. Which engine shall I bring to work here? I have no idea of anybody that's so responsible. Sir, said the Tiger Moth pilot, I do have an idea. While Tiger Moth and I were flying for just a tad bit, we did see Donald and Douglas below, and, well, they didn't have anything to do. Well, that's a splendid idea, said Sir Topham Hatt. We shall bring them here. They are very responsible. Other than the time that they did crush the spiteful brake band. Well, that was a long time ago, said Sir Topham Hatt. The future is now. You two are to run the line while Duck is gone, said Sir Topham Hatt. If you do well, you may be able to stay on this branch line as it is in need of help. Yay, said Donald. I like this branch line already. Nice and classy. Classy like Scotland, said Douglas back. Not exactly, but it sort of reminds me of it. Me too, said Donald. The next day came, and the two ran the branch line like clockwork. Donald pulled empty fuel cars to be refilled, and Douglas pulled Scruffy around. A week passed by, and Donald and Douglas were resting in sidings, waiting for their jobs. Donald had to pull the empty fuel cars to be refilled again, and Douglas was once again in charge of Scruffy. They were fighting. Hey, I think your job is easier than mine, said Donald. No, said Douglas. No way, Scruffy's a pain, you know. Not as much as taking empty fuel cars to the other side of the island and back. Well, Scruffy needs to be full of ballast. Soon enough, Oliver puffed in. As much as I like you two on this branch line, I hate the fighting. Stop it, both of you, and I'll get back to work. Meanwhile, Sir Topham Hatt was talking to Hiro. Hiro was visiting the Little Western Line. Hiro, I am in need of a passenger train that runs from here to somewhere else, but I'm not sure. Suddenly, a familiar face puffed in. Oh dear, this is not Elsbridge. Why, I'm not even sure where I am. Oh, this is quite perfect, said Sir Topham Hatt. Stepney, would you mind being the engine to pull passengers on this Little Western branch line? Oh, that's where I am. And, sure, I would love it, sir, actually. Running by, I saw some bluebells, and that just reminds me of home. Well, maybe I can pull these passengers from here to the Bluebell line. Well, that is perfect, Stepney. Great idea. You shall start tomorrow. Hiro grew happy. Well, sir, this did work out, didn't it? And he puffed away. He had to get back to work. The next day was very busy. Sir Topham Hatt welcomed all the new passengers to the Little Western Line. Donald and Douglas pulled a very heavy goods train around the island. Tiger Moth was back in action, and Oliver covered Percy for the mail. But the best part of the day was Duck finally came home from the works. He was glad to be part of the newly redesigned Little Western team.